Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Ripe Reviews. I'm Joel Escola.
I'm Sean O'Rourke.
I'm Connor. That began the nightmare on Fear Street, McGraw.
And today, we're talking about the first in the trilogy of the Fear Street Netflix movies. Fear Street, Part 1, 1994. And yes, we're going to go through each of these flicks as Ripe Reviews, and I'm fucking psyched. I don't know about you guys, but I had a really fucking good time with this. Let me tell you something. So dig, this clocked in what, hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah, could not believe that.
Yeah, so it's like a feature film, folks. Also, we are going to just give you our initial thoughts in a nutshell, non-spoilery, and then we will get into spoilers. Because, you know, there are people out there that want to hear some of this, and maybe they listen to it and they come back and they're like, all right, now I want to hear the spoiler portion of it and see what the guys thought of it, you know, afterwards, you know what I mean? Just to preface this a little bit, maybe for some of the younger listeners listening, Fear Street was a book series by R.L. Stine, and a lot of you may be familiar with R.L. Stine from Goosebumps, for sure. We got those two Goosebumps movies with Jack Black not too long ago. Did you guys read the Fear Street series when you were kids?
Nope.
No?
Never even heard of it.
Never even heard of it. Wow. My wife never heard of it either. Never read it. She never read Fear Street or Goosebumps. I was very taken aback by that.
Well, okay, so Goosebumps I read a fair amount of. Now,
okay.
He kind of lost me when he started doing the, pick your own adventure books. I know some people really like those, but I didn't.
There was a couple good ones in there.
Yeah, and then I loved the anthology series that was on during, I think it was like Fox, maybe Saturday mornings?
Fox Kids, dude. They would do, and they're all on Netflix now, too. You can watch those.
So yeah, Goosebumps, I'm all in on that. At least I used to be, but, Fear Street, this was new to me. Like, when you told me about it and I looked it up, I was like, oh shit, this is based on something?
Yeah, I was kind of wary because I was like, is it going to be a Stranger Things? And I'm like, don't lean too much into that, kind of do your own thing.
Well.
I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised. Connor, have you had any experience with Goosebumps before we go too far into Fear Street?
You read the books, have not seen the movies yet.
Okay, the movies, in my opinion, are the first one's great. The second one's okay. I am a Goosebumps veteran. I had the entire original run of those books, and I had a bunch of Fear Street, but I didn't have the OG Fear Street, right? So put it this way, if any diehard Fear Street fans are listening, I kind of got into the series late in the game, and I believe my first Fear Street was what is that? Attack of the Aqua Apes, I think it was, which was like mutant fucking sea monkeys.
Right.
Sign me the fuck up for that. It was great. I love that book. Right in the pocket with Animorphs, so I was doing that and Animorphs and Goosebumps all at the same time.
Oh, Animorphs was my shit.
Well, there you go.
The one thing I was worried about going into this was, like, were they going to do the Goosebumps and Scary Stories thing where it's like, no, this all comes from a book called Fear Street. And I was like, don't do that.
Well, kind of. We'll get to it.
They did it in a way where I didn't even notice it.
Yes, I agree. Just knee-jerk reaction, fellas. Non-spoiler reviews, go.
Fuck.
Okay. I thought it was fine.
I think it's pretty ambitious and pretty fucking entertaining from start to finish with a few slow parts. But, like, it ended and I was like, whoa, give me more.
I just had a blast for an hour and 40 minutes. My wife and I watched this. Man. For Fear Street Part 1, 1994, in a nutshell, it kind of captures all of those tidbits from those 90s slasher movies that we enjoy, and some we don't enjoy but improve upon them. And the story that they're cooking up here, like Connor just said, feels really natural and not forced, and there's a lot of good shit in here, and I didn't know what to expect either. I don't think it's based on the books. I mean, it is based on the books. I mean, it's not based on a specific book, but it takes elements from all the books, I believe, i.e. Sunnyvale and what? Shadyside?
Shelbyville.
Yeah.
Sunnyvale's where Buffy's from, right? Yeah, I think so. It's a great time. I had a lot of fun with it, and that is my short review.
My main complaint is that there's a lot of slow parts and...
Really?
Anything? Yeah, I felt like it really dragged ass. I felt like they were trying to hit like full-length picture, so they just stretched a lot of scenes out. I feel like you could have cut 10 minutes out of this easy.
I don't agree.
I agree, but it doesn't really, it didn't bother me. Like, I can identify parts in the movie where I'm like, hurry up.
Sure.
But like altogether, it didn't present an issue for me.
Sure. I mean, I think I see what you're saying, Sean. But I think a decent amount of that is the building the character relationships, no?
It is, but I'm talking about more so in like the middle of the movie once things really start rolling. Like anytime there was some kind of obstacle from the to block the actual. How would I word this? Basically, once the plot started going, I wanted it to keep going, and there were roadblocks put in between.
Okay.
And I understand why some of those scenes are there, just to kind of release tension and start ramping it back up.
Okay.
But I felt like a few of those scenes, and I get what they were going for to try to really convey a few things about these characters. I would have truncated some of those. I just kind of I was checking my watch a few times, put it that way. But I still liked it for the most part. It's just that detracted from it for me.
I think that's fair.
One of those sequences had my favorite line of the movie, which is, "Wait a minute, did you all just go to Pound Town?"
Right.
Again, I beg to differ on that because there are little things that we can get into, if you will.
Sure.
So without further ado, again, folks, here we go. We're going into spoilers for Fear Street Part 1, 1994. If you have not seen it yet, definitely go check it out. Hit fucking pause. We'll be here when you get back. Go check it out, and then come listen to the rest of this. Here we go. Spoiler time.
So it was the guy on the floor in the bathroom the whole time. John Kramer strikes again.
Fuck, man. John Kramer enters the Fear Street universe. Fuck me.
I own Shadyville. I bought all the neighborhoods there. Housing project.
I exploded and then melded into one John Kramer and came back.
Yeah, well, he made a little pit stop over a Calabos. Put those fucking razor blade traps in there somewhere.
He had to go check on his recruitment drive.
John Colabos and
John Colabos Kramer, was that his middle name?
This movie has a very Scream-like opening, including a recognizable face with Maya Hawke, who's from Stranger Things.
It is Scream to the umpteenth degree, but I don't mind it. But I was like, I fucking see you. I see you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's that whole thing, too, where they're playing up the tropes from the 90s. And, yeah, they want you to know it's Scream.
No, yeah.
Right up front. But there's a twist on it.
Yeah, I had such good feelings, like when she was like working at a B. Dalton and shit. I was like, man, how many fucking times have I been to the B. Dalton at the Ocean County Mall before they shut it down?
R.I.P.
Speaking of this mall, like, if she was like, sorry, I worked late tonight, Wonder Woman came in and beat up some people. Also, a giant goop monster attacked a psychic child. It's been a hell of a day. It looks like the same mall.
Also, David Arquette was in here with giant spiders? I don't know.
I mean, honestly, it could be the Star Court from Stranger Things. I mean, it is Maya Hawke. I mean, it is a mall. I don't know. We're connecting dots on this show all the time. Why not?
Yeah, let me ask you a question, fellas. When all the lights go off at the mall, does everything turn neon?
Only in Kong versus Godzilla.
Adam Wingard owns that mall.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the Wingard Circle. Yeah, I remember being at the mall one time during a heavy storm at the Ocean County Mall in Toms River, New Jersey, and the power went out. And I remember specifically having when the original Alien quadrilogy came out on DVD with like that silver xenomorph on the cover, like the embossed cover. I had that in my hands. I was in a Suncoast, and the power went out.
Did you walk out with that disc in hand, just be like, well, the power was out?
I didn't, and you know what? I didn't because I'm a good person. That's why.
Yeah, and you didn't want to get banned from the mall forever.
Well, I also knew the person that worked there. I guess it didn't really matter, but I felt bad. I couldn't just do that.
Meanwhile, Maya Hawke's getting stabbed to death by a guy in a skull mask.
Man, in that dime store's fucking Spencer's, this is a really good stock scene. I thought it was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, in the Spencer's especially, that's a really creepy scene where he's kind of coming at her, and she throws like the sex doll in the fucking like the changing room.
It's bathed in black lights, and like there's a fucking Rocktober blood mask in the back, and I don't know, it's really it's done pretty fucking well. And then, like we alluded to the Scream intro before, it's like slow motion. She like runs out, and this fucking dude, the guy in the skeleton mask comes after her, and stabs the shit out of her, which blew me away, right? Because this is R.L. Stine, guys.
This movie from the word go is like, yeah, it's gonna be a mean fucking time.
Oh yeah, it's no holds barred. It's R-rated for sure. There's gore, and it's great, and it's kind of the little dash extra, like on top, that little fucking chef's kiss on the top that I feel like R.L. Stine kind of needs to kind of hit that home. And again, this is for, Goosebumps is for like younger kids, I feel like, and Fear Street was for a little bit older teens.
Yeah, I never read Fear Street, so I can't confirm. There was some grim shit in Goosebumps, but like they always found a way to dance around anything terribly graphic.
Right, and they don't dance around it in this whatsoever.
No, one kill towards the end had me jump out of my fucking chair.
Oh man,
oh yeah,
we were screaming at the TV. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. That one really, I was shocked, honestly.
Yeah, those two back to back, even though the second one is like not as interesting.
Yeah.
It's still jarring because I was like, oh, I was very invested in those people.
Well, you guys want to talk about these characters a little bit? Like, which ones were your favorites? Which ones maybe you didn't like?
Well, that was the best part. And I just want to preface it with the fact that, so this chick in the mall dies, and then the killer's immediately revealed.
Right, is the guy that worked at the other store at the Spencer's.
Yeah, and he's shot in the fucking head.
We got all of Halloween in 9 minutes.
Yeah. 6 times, 1 time!
Would have been great if he shot him 6 times.
In the head, right? Yeah.
This cop's like, I am not doing this today. Boo!
Loomis is just yelling from behind a pillar, I said 6, not 1, 6!
Loomis is like, what are you doing?
So after we get the kill, we kind of get into our characters.
Yeah, so we meet a few people. Like the main two are this brother-sister combo of Dina and Josh, and it's Josh is like this fucking hacker computer nerd who's like on the AOL chats, just fucking talking about conspiracies about this like series of killings, like which is like kind of reminiscent of It a little bit.
Well, yeah, and also it's a little reminiscent of what we were just talking about, like the Goosebumps kind of thing. Or the Scary Stories kind of thing, where like he is the link to the lore of the film, right?
Right, and basically he's in these chat rooms talking about, well, if somebody got possessed again, just like this time, this many years ago, and they have this whole theory that this witch that was hung, back in 1666, which is actually the third in the series of this trilogy. So we're gonna see this at some point. Was hung and placed a curse on the town. And so they have this whole theory online that she keeps possessing people and having them go crazy. So, and this guy at the mall is the next victim, the next one that was possessed. But then we also have like this cheerleader character named Kate. And there's like the guy who's like, he's basically a stoner, but he doesn't ever actually, like, take a hit in the whole movie, but he's, like, the guy that's always, like, cracking jokes and shit. This guy's Simon.
Oh, he's a pillhead, man.
Oh, right, yeah, because Kate's selling fucking pills.
Man, I love that scene where I didn't know what the fuck they were doing with this chocolate box in the girls' bathroom.
Right.
And, like, there's this cheerleader with a box full of fucking Vicodin and Percocet and, like... and like wads of fucking cash rolled up, and she's like, yeah, I'm dealing, bye. And she's just like walking around with it.
I love this whole plot thread too that we kind of get introduced to, where Maya Hawke was killed, there's this tragedy, and basically all our principal characters essentially have to go to this football meetup at the other town as a memoriam. And the other town, because it's like the main characters, their school is the witches, and the other town's the devils or some shit.
Right, it's Edgar Allan Poe High, dude. Yeah, from Frankenturkey.
Yeah, from Bone Chillers.
Bone Chillers.
From Frankenturkey over on Patreon, if you heard that one.
It fits right in.
Yeah, Dracula's the principal. But yeah, they basically go to this, remembrance ceremony, and a big fight breaks out, and we find out that Dina's girlfriend is there, like now making out with a dude, and it's like a whole thing. Basically, all these threads kind of collide here.
It's a teen drama. Don't let us get you wrong.
Yeah.
It's a teen drama at the forefront.
That might have been part of it for me too. honestly.
Picture it. It's kind of like the CW on steroids, but not in a way where I want to punch the fucking television, right?
True.
You could say that Archie kind of went in this direction, but Archie is also trying to appeal to a very specific audience.
Yeah.
Which is like maybe in your 20s, but in your 30s you may not be very invested in it.
Right. I've championed like the Sabrina series on Netflix, like, and that is obviously aimed at a younger demographic than me, and it kind of frustrates me because of that. I think this, to its credit, I wasn't angry with it at all, perhaps, throughout the film. It was just what I said earlier, where it was just, a little drawn out for my liking.
No, but it was very relatable, right?
Yes, it was realistic.
It was very realistic in terms of like how relationships work when you're in high school, and kind of the things that you do, the stupid things that you do, like having a box full of shit from like your ex that you want to fucking burn or like give back to them or whatever.
Or writing an angry note on a small piece of notebook paper and just going through a series of vitriolic phrases.
So, the whole thing that kind of sets this off, like the beginning scene, that would be the end of it. But then, after this whole altercation at the other school, they're leaving in their school bus, and Sam, which is Dina's girlfriend from the other school, she and her boyfriend's other friend are like fucking tailgating the bus, and there's this huge accident. And Sam, she spills blood like on the witch's grave and like disturbs her fucking bones. It just happens to be where they crashed the car. And I thought that was like pretty interesting because it's like, okay, on one hand, it's like, what a friggin' coincidence. But on the other, like, you know what? No, this is a trope that would be in these kind of movies, especially in this time period. So I was like, you know what? It works.
But it also feels good. Like, it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing. Like, I don't mind tropes, but don't make it forced. And I don't think it doesn't feel forced to me.
Right.
And I thought for sure those kids in the fucking whatever the fuck
the car,
the fucking Volkswagen Jetta, whatever the fuck they were.
I thought they were dead.
No, I thought they were gonna Molotov cocktail the fucking bus, dude.
Oh yeah, because they're throwing drinks at it.
Either way, what they do is fucking insane. And someone was going to get hurt regardless. But I do like the idea that, like, just off the road, just a little bit, is the corpse of a dead witch.
Oh, man, I love that. They must have had fucking Don Knotts as a bus driver, dude, because he's deaf or something, for sure.
You're from Big Bully, right?
You can count the adults on one hand in this movie?
Yeah.
My wife said something about that, and I'm like, it's a teen horror movie. So there can't be any adults, or else it kind of breaks everything, with the exception of the deputy.
Right. It's like if you ever saw It Follows, it's kind of also trying to harken back to old movies like that. They did the same thing in that. There's no adults in it.
But yeah, witch on the side of the road.
Right, the witch on the side of the road. It's really cool because They show you how she sees like a vision almost when she touches this bone, which I do think it was a little silly that the bones were that close to the surface, but I understand for plot why they would do that.
I agree with you.
But it's cool how it comes back in a big way, because then basically, again, assuming you saw it, but then these monsters or these resurrected people, including this fucking Jason-ass motherfucker, who I guess is going to be the main bad guy for the second movie.
Oh, Dick Grayson comes back as Nightwing, dude. Yeah.
That's the Red Hood. Oh my god.
It's the burlap hood, man.
Yeah, in the MDU, that's for sure. That's probably what would happen. He'd get plucked out by John Hurt and just thrown in Crystal Lake.
Oh, it's Jason Todd, you think? Maybe.
Just throws a fucking potato sack at Jason Todd. He goes, here, I don't have time to make you an outfit. Make two.
Yeah, oh, it's Granny's the witch, right? Like, put this fucking potato sack on you. I saved you from the crowbar beating. Here you go.
You look fine. Besides, you were busted anyway. Wear this.
You're my hate. Go do my bidding. Haven't you ever seen The Conjuring 3? Go listen to Movie Dumpster's Ripe Review.
Oh, man. Yeah, definitely check that one out. But I love how they bring this back later in the movie when you find out that all these henchmen or wraiths or whatever you want to, zombies essentially, go after her. You find out it's because she disturbed the bones, and it's like, I like how the characters kind of put it together, because they're not immediately figuring it out, but between their knowledge of that night and the brother basically has all this information about the witch, and it's kind of just like, then like from that point on, the movie had me hooked. Once we hit that point in the story, which is about 40 minutes into it, to be perfectly honest. And, it seems like maybe I'm the odd man out a little bit on that, but it was losing me. And then it had me for the rest of the movie up until like maybe the last 5.
You also got to remember this is part 1 of a part 3 story.
True.
I think it encapsulates itself well in a vacuum form for this particular installment. What I really liked about the fact that, like, the body's near the surface. And right now we're like, well, why the fuck is it so close? But, like, we don't know the rest of the story.
Well, right, yeah.
Right? Because as this wraps up, we get a glimpse into the next story. And then, as Sean alluded to, the third story would be 1666 when the actual event happened. But, like, we don't know if this witch is active, maybe because of the way this ends.
Right, because I feel like they're setting it up that these, the last couple characters that survived this are going to probably come back for the next one, and then we're going to go into some kind of flashback kind of thing where then the rest, maybe it'll bookend the actual movie, if that makes sense.
I think so.
But I guess we don't know. I mean, we'll see.
So I want to talk about the music real quick. A lot of it was good and it felt good, but in the beginning it was a little forced.
In the beginning, it's the most Stranger Things, like, as far as aping that formula, because, like, I think, like, in 3 minutes I heard like 4 or 5 licensed songs.
That's too many, right? That's too many. But I like smatterings throughout the rest of the movie episode, the first installment, if you will.
Right. That didn't really bother me, but I could see that. I definitely noticed that more in Conjuring 3, just to mention that one more time. They do that heavy duty in that movie.
This is true, but also this is like a teen movie, and it is in the 90s, so I get it. We get some fucking Soundgarden, we get some Garbage, we get some Nine Inch Nails, we get some fucking White Zombie. I mean, it's kind of cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
we get double dosings.
Josh has the White Zombie blasting in one scene, and he's not hearing like a fucking fight happening upstairs because of it.
Playing fucking Super Castlevania.
Was he? I thought he was playing a Sega Genesis, and I was like, wait a second, what Castlevania games were on the Sega?
They also kind of dip their toes a little bit into like the 70s and 80s slashers with these scenes of the skull mask killer standing outside. Was very much like a Michael Myers kind of thing outside like the trailers. And I love how they have the scene where Dina calls Sam she calls Kate, and she's like, hey, you see this guy out there? Because they live like across the street from each other.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah. That's basically what they do. That's definitely a callback to
She's picking her nose. She's like, what am I doing? No, that's not what she's doing. No, but you know what I really liked about that? It threw me for a fucking loop because I had no idea. Like, I did not see that coming with this witch's henchman, if you will.
Right.
I love that we immediately find out who that killer is in the beginning. It's that kid.
Yeah.
And then they pull the mask off again when they're in a hospital, and it's the kid, and he's dead. I was like, that's fucking great. I was like, there's no guessing. I was like, who is that? That's got to be like a copycat killer or I don't know what, another one of the witch's cult or what have you. And it was the same fucking kid. I was like, this is great. I was super invested, and I thought it was awesome.
I didn't know there was going to be a supernatural element to this. So, like, when I went in, at least, like, not so aggressively, when I went in, the movie kept identifying itself, like, everywhere else as a slasher movie. I was like, all right, cool. And then, like, as soon as all this, like, hocus pocus shit starts ramping up, I was like, all right, I'm fucking in.
Well, yeah, and speaking of hocus pocus, there is a hocus pocus ass scene, because there's also just, I want to mention real quickly, the third killer, the barbershop kind of killer type character.
The hot babe with the straight razor.
Yeah. She's pretty cool, too. She keeps going after the one dude, their friend. And so they basically figure out that Sam is the one that they're actually going after. And the only reason the monsters have attacked anybody else is because her blood got on them.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty good. Because she gets in that accident, she's like in a bad way.
Yeah, we talked about how she gets into that accident, and when she touches the ground, she gets a nosebleed. Her blood touches the bones of the witch, and then the witch is after her because of her blood. Right?
Oh, speaking of, real quick, you mentioned the nosebleed.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to follow up on this in the second or third one, because Dina, also got a nosebleed at the same moment or right before the accident, and they don't ever come back to that. Like, I don't know if that was just like a weird happenstance or if that happened as some kind of supernatural thing that we're going to find out later, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
I thought at least one of those girls is linked to the witch by blood.
Oh.
Like, I mean, like, lineage-wise.
Right, without touching it. So Sam gets connected because she touches it. But, yeah, I could see that. Maybe Dina. Maybe that's why she had a bloody nose when they passed the grave.
Before we get to the end of this, I just want to talk about some of the kills in this.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, yeah, because they make you wait.
They are full frontal and brutal, and I'm fucking here for it. Every one I fucking hoot and hollered when it happened, for sure.
Well, I was kind of expecting Simon to die first from the beginning.
Simon lasts longer than I ever gave him credit for, because every time I thought he was dead, he fucking got away.
Yeah, man, they all last really long.
He made me laugh, too, I gotta say, so I was like, oh, the funny guys gotta go. They never make it out of these movies.
Well, put it this way. By the time the red starts kicking up again, I had already forgotten about the beginning. So when those kills came, I was like, oh, we get a fucking,
Well, hold on. Let's set it up a little. Again, assuming you saw it. If not, here's your primer. The younger brother, Josh, he has a thing for the cheerleader chick selling pills. So they share a kiss at one point because they're, it could be their last night together.
Side note, he's talking to like this,
Dominatrix
online, queen, whatever, and he's like the Knight of Silence or whatever, the Silence Pauper, whatever the fuck. I thought the cheerleader was that chick.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
That's what I thought too.
And I was like, that is the sweetest shit ever. But she just fucking had a crush on that kid. I was into that. They share a makeout fucking pound session like Connor was talking about before.
Yeah, I do wonder though with that AOL chat buddy. I wonder if that character if the doors open for that character to appear in like one of the sequels.
Oh, without a doubt, I think.
But yeah, so. Just given that setup, because then the cheerleader, she actually is like trying to hide from the skull guy at the end because they're trying to basically, they come up with this plan if they're going to kill Sam and then bring her back to life so that they'll beat the curse. Okay.
Yes. There's three henchmen. There's the axe guy, which is from Camp Nightwing, who murdered all those people with an axe. He's a Jason knockoff. Jason Todd, maybe. There's the chick from the 50s or the 60s who is, she's like a teeny bopper with a fucking razor blade that like killed all her friends. And then the third one is like a skull killer or skull mask killer, which...
Scream guy, basically.
Yeah, Scream type guy, which happens in the beginning of this film. So there's three henchmen of the witch that are going after them.
Well, and there's a pool of them because they show you lots of these different killers at Shadyside.
I think it's Sunnyvale Shadyside.
Okay, yeah, they show them like this montage of killers they've had in this town, and woohoo!
It's awesome.
You have the killer milkman, you have the deformed boy.
Oh yeah, the milkman! The milkman cometh, dude. I can't wait to see his ass.
Yeah, like so many. This is like 3 of the pool, so with 2 movies left, I'm sure we're to see the fucking rest.
They allure to the preacher guy who killed all those kids.
Oh, this preacher sounds like a son of a bitch. He's definitely going to be in that third movie. But yeah, so this last scene, the cheerleader chick, Kate, she gets grabbed by the skull guy, and he just fucking loads her like down this fucking ramp into this like meat slicer.
Dude, first he stabs her, and I'm like, oh shit, she's dead.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, okay, girlie's fighting back. Bad bitch, fucking, she like stops him with like this fucking muffin tin and shit.
Oh, that was cool, yeah, blocking the knife.
She gets straight up fucking like intrudered, man. She gets fucking like sliced through this fucking meat slicer, her head.
As brutal as you can imagine, too.
It was great.
Yeah, there's a lingering shot of like slices of her head like being poured onto the ground. I also like just the way it plays out. It's like an exclamation point from the Skull Mask Killer. He's like, I stabbed you, you're being a pain in the ass, here you go, you get this.
Well, because it's all this tension too, because Dina has Sam like dunked in the fucking lobster tank trying to make her drown so that she can like beat this curse.
Right, okay, let's preface it with the fact that like the druggy guy we were talking about before, Simon, his brother in the beginning ODs, but they saved him. So the idea is that Sam needs to die for these henchmen or haints or whatever you want to call them, or revenants, whatever you want to call them, to disappear and stop chasing her, right? Because the fact of the matter is somebody else survived in 1978 after the fucking slaughter at Camp Nightwing, and she's alive, and the way that she beat it was the fact that she died and then came back to life. So they have to stop Sam's heart for them to disappear, and then they have to resuscitate her. So what happens is they pump her full of fucking drugs, and they're like, yeah, they're like, yeah, take this fucking pile, and that'll make you feel like you're getting fucked by a unicorn, and then you're gonna take this pile, which is gonna make you real sick. But wait, you gotta wait 5 minutes before you take this third pile, because that's the one that's gonna stop your fucking heart and kill you.
But then, like, the Jason guy comes in, so then they're just like, plan B, you're gonna be drowned in the lobster tank.
She pukes everything up, so it's useless. Like, she can't hold it down. Also, this whole sequence of them just, like, giving her medication is fucked up.
Dude, it's fucked up. And she's so fucked up from these pills. Man, it's intense. It's an intense scene.
Well, and then we see Kate get butchered, turned into literal ground beef. And then Simon sees this happen, and he just stops for a second to watch. And again, they covered themselves in Sam's blood as a distraction.
Yes, because each of these haints or whatever, or these henchmen, go after the blood, Sam's blood specifically.
And they do a bunch of things throughout the movie to try to, like, you know, guide them. Again, like Hocus Pocus, they lead them into a bathroom and blow it up with fucking, like, aspartame.
Before we get into the end of this, we missed that part, because they lure like Sean said, they lure him into this bathroom.
Or like turpentine or some shit they pour all over the floor.
It's like chlorine and ammonia or whatever the fuck.
They're lucky they didn't die.
I love how it's like Hocus Pocus to a point, but like they blow them up and it's like, okay, they're like, oh, we beat them, and I'm sitting here at home like, well, these things have regenerated before.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And then like the fucking blob, but like meat blobs, like they start like reforming, and they're like, oh fuck.
It's like the fucking Wolfman and Monster Squad, dude. You can throw them out the window and fucking blow them up with dynamite, but there's only one way to kill them, dude, with a silver bullet, right?
Oh yeah.
I was also a big fan of Kate running in towards the end before she gets killed with the fucking hairspray and the lighter, just like,
oh yeah. She went full Simon Basel.
And the sunglasses.
Yeah, put the sunglasses on, put that crocodile rock on, start dancing.
Cue that fucking Elton John, here we go.
But yeah, so Simon, he sees Kate's face again get shredded, and then he pauses for like 1 second, and then you just see for like behind like a aisle behind him, just the axe just come down and lodge into his head, and you're like, ooh.
Dude, she goes right through the meat grinder. And I was like, oh my fucking God. And without skipping a beat, dude is like, hey, whatever, are you okay? And then, boom, he gets hit with the axe. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, he's dropped.
He got fucking brained. Like,
and then the only character that I was, like, pretty confident wasn't dying was the younger brother, Josh. And at the last scene, he's, like, crawling on the ground trying to get away from the chick with the razor. Or actually, what's it?
No. He's a Skullman. Skullman
was going after him, and then like within a second of him about to get stabbed in the stomach, Sam lets out a final gasp and dies.
I kind of thought Josh was gonna die after Simon and Kate eat it so fucking hard. I was like, okay, I guess the rule book is gone now.
Right. Well, Jason, he almost gets Dina and Sam, but he's like right on top of her when she dies. And then she gets resuscitated by like 6 fucking adrenaline shots in the heart.
Let me tell you something. Okay. She drowns her girlfriend. She drowns Sam. What's her name?
Dina.
Dina drowns Sam in a fucking lobster tank, right? And everybody's coming out. All the fucking henchmen are coming out. The haints, the revenants, and she dies in the tank. Now that wasn't the plan. Obviously, they're going to OD her and then resuscitate her. So she dies. She drowns. They pull her out. And they stab her with fucking 5 Mia Wallace specials, dude.
She should have got up and drop kicked them both. Like,
she should have exploded after she fucking threw up her sea foam or her lobster juice, whatever the fuck. She should have fucking been like roundhousing motherfuckers and busting the Macarena on the fucking floor, man.
She fucking nips up, gives them both the rock bottom, then just fucking does a people's elbow right there in the fucking store.
Right through the lobster tank. So yeah, she's alive, and we skip ahead some time, and it basically like kind of ends with they get a phone call from the woman that survived before, because they tried calling her at one point when they're in the hospital. And she's like, yeah, so you did. They're like, oh, yeah, it's fine. We killed her. She's alive. Don't worry about it. We cheated death.
Devin Saw was there. He's like, I told you about the plane.
Yeah, exactly. There's a note on his fucking ceiling written in blood. But she's basically like, yeah, it's never over. Like, you need to watch your back. And then we see, like, the witch basically in her home, or whatever the fuck it is, basically this brick wall that has names carved into it, and then Dina's name is, like, carved in magically. And Sam's is on there already.
Yeah, they go to the fucking police station and they give their statements, and it all corroborates, and they're free to go.
Oh yeah, they all tell the same bullshit story because they don't want to admit what happened with. They don't want to sound crazy, but they're like, but in the process, their friends are now being like, oh, they're drug addicts and they went on this killing spree.
And they just let it happen, dude. They're just like, yep, our friends are drug addicts.
Yeah.
They went on a killing spree.
What a fucked up thing to live with after that. Like,
Dina and Sam are like together again. And it's like fine. And she like tells her mom, like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. And that's like a big plot point.
Yeah, right. That's a plot point, which I did like, that she was kind of struggling with that. And it was part of like the issue in their relationship, and they resolve that at the end.
Well, she grows throughout the whole movie as being like, you know, this is who I am and fuck you if I don't like it, which is awesome. I love that.
And they all just survive this super heinous, like, insane situation.
Well, Dina and Sam and Josh do. Everybody else gets fucking brained or, you know, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Plus all the extras that are just killed off screen.
yeah, like Nurse Betty.
He's supplying pills to them from inside the hospital. His name's Eddie, and he has a fucking B carved into his fucking name tag, and he's Nurse Betty. Get it?
We can't end this without talking about my favorite side character in this, the guy that's like the custodian at the mall that gets arrested for no reason because they're racist or something, and they're at the police station at one point, and he goes to Josh. He's like, oh, hand me the keys, and he's like, Josh doesn't say anything at first, but he grabs like a paperclip, real quiet and shit, and just kind of lobs it on the ground, and the guy puts his foot over it. He's like, thanks. I love that.
I think they pegged him as like a fucking like delinquent because he's like, he keeps getting brought in there for like spray paint graffiti or some shit. Oh my God, I just put it together. You do know all that fucking graffiti that's been spray painted like on the mall and in the bathroom and shit? You think that was him?
If not, he's being accused of it, but I think he's coming back in, I would assume the next one, because he gives Josh his business card. He's like, oh, yeah, if you ever get in a pickle, like, give me a call. He's like, I really owe you.
I'll put a warning about some ancient supernatural evil in the side of the building.
Yeah.
Did you know there was a fucking witch buried over there? You don't fuck with that shit, all right?
He's like in the same union as Cliff Curtis from fucking House 2.
Cliff Towner? Here's my card.
Yeah. That's what was on the card. He's like graffiti artist, custodian, adventurer. I wanted to mention that because I thought that character was pretty good. The little bit he was in. He has like 5 lines, but yeah, I liked him. And then the movie basically ends with Josh writing that like that note to that mysterious person online, because you know the news is that they were drug addicts. And he's like, no, Kate was brave. Kate and Simon, they were my friends. And he's trying to like, you know, spread the good word, and that it was all made up. That they didn't kill, you know, that it was these monsters and it was the witch. And then it's kind of like, all right, next time on Fear Street, no warning for the spoilers from the next movie. Thanks, Netflix.
Well, wait, because Sam becomes possessed, like you said, and she stabs Dina.
Oh my! I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, man, and I thought she was fucking dead. I thought she was toast.
Dude, they have an off-screen Kill Bill brawl upstairs while her brother can't hear them over the Rob Zombie.
That was great because you think the movie's petering out. You're like, okay, they resolved everything. Yeah, listen, I totally forgot about it. I watched it last night and I forgot that happened, and I love that.
Yeah, they're like in her bed, and then she like gets possessed by the witch. Like Sean said before, it cuts to the witch. Now, guys, I don't think that this is the original witch. I think there's another person that is
maybe
carrying on the legacy of this witchcraft.
It could be a descendant or something like that.
I think 100% it's a descendant, because we see this person sitting in this like black cloak in front of a fucking fire doing the fucking seance or whatever magical bullshit, and then on the fucking wall Samantha's name gets etched into it, like Sean was saying.
Right. what the hell happens that she breaks the hold on that? I can't remember now.
Well, she fucking so Dina wraps her up in a fucking phone cord.
Oh, right.
Dina hogties her.
Right, while she's on the phone with that woman, right.
And she's like, we gotta save her, or whatever.
After presumably kicking the shit out of her because she was stabbed and somehow won.
And then it ends with with White Zombie, but then we cut to like the preview of the next episode.
Yeah, which I was kind of pissed about because I didn't realize they were going to do that. I would have liked to go in that a little bit more blind, but
I agree. It should have just cut and then left me with credits.
It shows way too much. I was kind of bummed. I hope I forget most of that by the time I actually watch it.
It's all right. I'll tell you about it right now. So,
you son of a bitch.
So
Sadie sinks in it. She gets stabbed.
It's the fucking 78 thing, and it's the chick who, before the cheerleader brought her sisters over to her house, and she's like, "Hey, can you watch my sisters? I gotta go do this. I gotta do the rest of this movie." That woman is the survivor of the 78 massacre at Camp Nightwing.
Okay.
With Sackhead, which is Jason Todd in a fucking burlap sack.
I'm so glad we're setting this up now, so when we do the next episode and we just keep calling him Jason Todd, like, well, if you heard the first one.
It's it might be Dick Grayson. We don't know.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out, yeah.
These are dropping, every other week? Every week?
I believe it's every week, so we'll be coming to you definitely shortly. But, and they'll probably be a little bit shorter than this because we needed to preface it with a bunch of stuff. But yeah, the next one, Fear Street Part 2, 1978, and that is the story of that woman at Camp Nightwing when the axe murderer killed all those people. How did it happen? What provoked the witch? Obviously, it's part of the witch cult, right? So somebody spilled blood on that fucking corpse. How did that corpse get there? Maybe they dug it up and put it somewhere else on the side of the road. Who knows? Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how that plays out. Like, is it going to be something similar where it's like, I'm assuming it's Sadie Sink or one of her friends, and Sadie Sink is the redheaded girl from the second and third season of Stranger Things. Really good actress, actually. So I'm curious to see how she plays this role.
I guess with that being said, let's move into our final thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's big. It's fucking ambitious. It's a slasher movie that I cared about immensely as it rolled along, which is very hard to do for me now because I think slashers have kind of aged kind of poorly. I don't think anyone does them very well anymore, and if there is one, it's every once in a while, and this is like, just kicks your fucking door open, is like, you ready for this shit? It's really fucking fun. The kids are amazing. They sell the Perro really well. Their chemistry is great, and I was bummed to see a few of them die, and I can't wait for the next one. This is awesome. I love, like, really good, ambitious, grand horror. Just makes me so happy.
I'm with you, dude. This is ripe as fuck, and ripe in a positive way. It completely subverted my expectations. Now, we've mentioned that a few times on the show, where it's like, gotcha, here's the thing, but like in a negative way. But this subverted it in a way where like I did not know what to expect, and when it came, it brought the fucking goods tenfold. I was a little leery on how they were going to do Fear Street or what they were going to do. I was very afraid that this was going to turn into a Goosebumps or a Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, while it does have airs of both of those films, it does something completely different and on its own and in a better way. And I think the special sauce there comes from blending those films with that Stranger Things kind of hipness and storytelling, if you will. I was shouting at the TV, and that's great for me. Like when I watch a horror movie, I want to yell at the television, right? In a positive way, not like I need to turn this off, but like, holy shit, I can't believe they did that. Are you kidding me? This is awesome, you know? And it does all of those kinds of things just on top of being, I mean, I'm not really into teen dramas, but the way this is written is totally fine with me. It's not ham-fisted. It's very real in the approach. The gore is great. The cinematography is great. The lighting's great. I think I think what they're going for overall in this, what's to come in this arcing story is pretty fucking original and awesome. Even though it might be something that we've heard before or seen before, it's fresh. It's fresh in the way that they're presenting it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I had a great fucking time, for sure. And I'm really looking forward to 1978, because if that was 94, 1978 is my fucking jam. I mean, we are talking the beginning of the slasher movie, okay, folks? Like, I see all of those people at a camp, in their summer, being camp counselors in their summer gear, doing their thing with a fucking axe murderer. Sign me the fuck up. I cannot wait for the second part of this series. Yeah, ripe as fuck. I'm with it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of echo a lot of what Joe just said, honestly. Like, yeah, this was ripe as hell. I didn't love it, but I liked the trajectory of this a lot. And that second movie, honestly, the second and third, like both time periods, I'm really attracted to.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. The 1666? Yeah, man.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the 90s stuff, I am into it, don't get me wrong. As you have probably heard on this show over the years, I do like that kind of stuff. But the 78, like Joe just said, basically getting a Friday the 13th movie with a supernatural twist that is not just that Jason's a zombie. It's a little bit more, there's a little bit more to it than that. And I hope we don't know, like, all the tricks already. Like, I hope there is a spin on it to separate it from this one. And again, I'm assuming just based on the way this one ends and some of the casting that these main characters from the 90s are going to kind of take us through some of this stuff between the next two movies, whether they bookend it or we're going to be cutting back and forth. I guess we'll find out when we see the second one. But I like the trajectory of it. Again, I found a few spots a little slow. I feel like they were just trying to hit a certain runtime, personally. But really, just nitpicking, honestly. Like, I liked it for the most part. And that next one's really... I'm wet. Let's put it that way. I'm ready for it.
Jesus. Dude, the storytelling was really fucking good in this one, so I hope that carries over to the next two films for sure.
Yeah, and they tease stuff, like, again, like you were saying earlier, Joe, like about that preacher for 1666. Like, that's interesting. Like, they show a shot of the Jason Todd walking around the fucking cabin. And again, I will say a little nitpick again. I mentioned it briefly a little bit ago, but the fact that they show that preview, I get they got to get people hyped to watch the next thing, but I just felt like it gave too much away. Again, unless they're just trying to fuck with you and it's nothing like that, which I would actually kind of appreciate, but I doubt that's what's happening at all.
They pull a Marvel.
If there's there's going to be another hour and 45 minutes of content, I think.
Sure, no, yeah, listen, if you saw the preview at the end, maybe you see where I'm coming from, but who knows? It's like you just said, Joe, it's a little fucking preview, and I got the whole thing to look forward to.
Look, man, if it's cast as well as this first joint, I'm with it. Like,
oh yeah,
everything's acted very well. The pacing is good. The story is good. I'm into it. Sign me up.
I have high hopes.
Yeah, Fear Street Part 1, 1994 was awesome, and we will see you on Fear Street Part 2, 1978, baby.
Freddy's dead.
But Jason Todd's alive.
Freddy versus Jason Todd.
Freddy versus Jason Todd in Camp Blood. Yeah. Camp Nightmare. Camp Night Moon. Yeah. The horror at Camp Jelly Jam. We'll see you on the next Ripe Reviews.